Hi everybody, it's Jess here from Meadows Flowers. So for those of you that haven't met me before, I'm Jess and I own and run Meadows Flowers. We're an artisan cut flower farm and florist studio between Stoke, Uttoxeter, Stafford and Stoke-on-Trent in mid-Staffordshire in the UK. So if you've not seen one of these videos before, this is my weekly jobs from the weekend video. Meant to do it yesterday, but by the time we finished last night on Sunday, it was dark. It was cold and I needed a G&T. So what I'll do, I'll give you a little tour of the garden. Here we are now the 9th of January. So come with me and we'll go on a tour of the garden. So let's start in the greenhouse. The bay, so the Laurus nobilis is in here because it got blown over the other day. And actually this is looking really good. Lots of lovely growth on this. Quite a few of these stems now really long. I can start to cut those and use those in arrangements because who doesn't like a little bit of lovely pop of lime green, certainly in winter. So ranunculus, there we go, are looking good. They're growing well. Some of them are looking really strong. So I don't want to keep these too wet over winter. So just if the soil looks really dry, which it doesn't at the moment, they'll get a little bit of a water. Once they start growing again, we'll start feeding them. So that is the ranunculus. Studio electrics are now planned. We should have got on with this over Christmas, but there's not time to do everything in life. So the electrics are planned and that's the next few weeks' mission, is to crack on with this. And then this is where the sweet peas and dahlias, some of the dahlias come. So nice shot actually, you can really clearly here see what I grow my sweet peas up. So this is some plastic coated green chicken wire, really brilliant. As you can see, last year's tendrils on this, we can just pull it off, and that when the sweet peas are ready to go out, they can go out and they'll go up that. But we have tulips coming up, lots and lots of lovely tulips. So that's all looking really good. So let's have another little go a bit further. So here we are in the perennial beds. So this is the extension we put on in autumn. So the Senecio is looking good, the wallflowers are coming on. There's a few odds and ends of plants we still haven't planted out. All this has had a good weed, but as you can tell, the moment you weed it, weeds start coming back. But this has all been cut back and weeded, and we've got probably a third of it all done now, which is really great. So you can see we've got lupins just starting to come up. There's a pile of rose prunings. Roses have had a prune. You can see we've pruned back to just above a bud. So they'll put loads of lovely growth on coming into spring. Penstemons had a cut back. There's the shovel. And so we've cut everything back, given it all a good haircut, given it a good weed, and again, lots more tulips coming up. If you can see that or not, it's not going to sneak in. Lots more tulips coming up, all looking really good. So cutting beds, and all the buckets that are blown everywhere, have now all had a really good cut back and pull out. This is why I like to use my cutting bed just for annuals, because it means that I can just clear the whole lot out, dig it all over, and it looks really cool. So more tulips coming up in here, some hesperis there. As you can see, we've got some alliums coming up. Let's go for a wander. More tulips coming up. These are my pigtails, which we used to hold the netting to grow through. So there, I'll leave those in place and no point in picking those up. So I've got some Vogue Buplorum that's self-set itself, and we've got the biennial Sweet Williams, Xanthus barbatus, which are here, Dutch iris coming up, and then other alliums just starting to come up. The fennels all had a cut back, that'll get planted out this year. So yeah, a lot happening here. I'm going to wander back this way. Unfortunately, the frost has killed every single one of my dahlia tubers. So that horrible -5 persistent week we had the other week, it's killed them, so I'm afraid they're chucked out in a crate, ready to go in the brown wheelie bin or on the compost heap. But said strawberries need cutting back. We're now at the point that all the veg garden, and this is where the dahlias are going this year, now all needs a good sort out and a dig over. But as I always say, can't do everything, so I do what I can do bit by bit. But the eucalyptus, this is the eucalyptus farm. These have all now been potted into their final pots, and they're nicely sheltered here behind the studio. So lovely, they're looking really, really good. Start taking first harvest off of those fairly shortly. And finally the polytunnel. So what have we done this weekend again? We have potted on all the Orlea, so doing lots of Orlea grandiflora this year because I love its little frothy umbellifers. So I think there's about 25 or 30 of those that we've actually managed to pot on. Antirrhinum, so these are my Snapdragon Antirrhinum Potomac, looking really good. Now, to pinch or not to pinch, that is a question. So I've hedged my bets. I've pinched out half of them, so every other tray, and left every other tray full height. And I deliberately did every other tray because I'm thinking if there's difference between the ones at the back or in the middle of the polytunnel, I don't want there to be a sort of a bias to my vague science I'm doing. But they're looking amazing. Sweet peas have now all been pinched out, so literally we've just taken the top of them. Well, I'll do this one and show you here, and we've literally just gone finger and thumb and pinched his top out. And what that will do, that'll give me really, really nice bushy plants. So by the time they're ready to go out, end of March, April time, weather depending, will be really, really strong. We'll already have some canes in and be looking ready to start flowering hopefully in May. More Orlea, lots of larkspur looking really, really good. Scabious, Nigella and Amivixnaga looking really good. Fortunately, I've lost all the Amimajus. It's got damping off disease, which is probably because it's gone from being so cold to being so wet and warm. But lots and lots of babies here looking really good. Anemones look fabulous. These are actually growing day by day and they're starting to go into stem extension. So I'm optimistic we'll have some flowers in the not too distant future on these. And then the spare ranunculus, looking good again. Some of these really starting to romp away. So interesting to compare these with the ones in the greenhouse, see what they do. Fig looks good, he's very bare but looks good. Lots of narcissi coming through. The grapevine shed his leaves, I think he survived, he looks okay. And then the poor citrus, unfortunately, as we said the other day in that cold weather, the limes had it. Despite fleecing it up, the limes bitten the bullet, unfortunately. I don't think he's coming back from that. Lemon is looking good. Look at this, we've got lemons. Anyone who didn't think you could grow lemons in Staffordshire, we can. This is one of the orange trees. Orange here actually starting to ripen. Again, its baby fruit had been nipped by the frost, but he'll come back from that. The big orange tree looks a bit sad, but again, I think there's some growth here at the back that if we prune back to will do well. So there we go, everybody. So there we go, a little tour of the garden on the 9th of January 2023. So as always, if you like my videos, like what you see, click the like button. If you want to keep updated, notified when I next pop a video on, and there'll be a couple of other videos going on this week, everybody. So hit the subscribe button, and please, any comments, any questions, pop them in the comments. I love to hear from you. As always, I've been Jess, and I'll see you soon.